What is the creative process that is behind your productions? For instance, before composing, do you look at the design of the film?
まずスクリプトですね。脚本をしっかり読んで、どういうものを作ろうかっていうイメージするのが一番大切で、それから監督と打ち合わせをしながら、どういう監督がどういう映画を作りたいかっていうのを、それを理解するのがすごく大事、2番目に大事になりますね。それから、少しずつこう上がってきているラッシュの、場面の一部ですけどもね、そういうのを見ながら、監督によってテンポが全部違います。例えばドアを開けて入ってきてこう席に着くっていうだけでも、もう丁寧にこうドアを開けてから座るまで撮る人と、ドアを開けたと思ったらすぐ座っちゃう監督といるから、それぞれその監督の持つテンポがあるんで、それを理解するのに時間をかけるようにしています。
La cosa
I immediately go through the script because it's important for me to have a clear idea about the content, the plot. Then after that, I start meeting the director, and I want to understand from the director what is his idea behind the film, what he wants to obtain as a result. Then I try and understand which are the actions that may be very quick, what we call rush. So I want to see how the characters move. I have to think in terms of music and musical tempo. Let's say someone comes into a room and then slowly walking sits down, or else a character may rush into the room and rush to a chair. So this tempo, the speed for me is an important element.
は基本的に全部自分でやります。やっぱり細かいニュアンスを伝えるから、やはり映画のレコーディングあまり時間がないから、短期間でこう演奏者に伝えるためにも自分が指揮した方がいいなと思って全部自分でやってます。
Sì, per quello che riguarda la
As regards the recording of the soundtrack, I always deal with that personally because I want to explain to the orchestra all nuances, all the subtle nuances, and so it's important for me to be there personally. I have to make the people understand what they have to do, how they have to play. What is the aspect of your work that you prefer best between composing, playing the piano, and conducting the orchestra?
好きでいらっしゃるのは
まず商業で言うとピアノを弾くのが一番嫌いです。それからオーケストラの指揮するのも1対80人とか90人のオーケストラで結構これもエネルギー使うから極力やりたくないなと思う一つです。だから作曲がその中で最もやりたくない。とにかく一生懸命書いても考えても浮かばないと本当に全部で何もできないから作曲が一番つらい。その3つの中ではみんなつらいですけど作曲が一番嫌いです。だから一番大変です。だけど朝何もなかったのが夜になって そうするとその感動があるから一番大変なんだけど作曲が一番好きというか、だから自分の肩書きはどんな場合にも
potrei andare in realtà con la metodologia
Well, actually, I could go by exclusion, starting by saying that what I don't like is playing a piano. But to be frank, I don't like conducting either very much because it is a kind of tug of war, one against 80 people. And so it's an exchange of energies which is not even. What remains then is composing. Composing is the most difficult thing, very hard, very difficult for me. So in this list of activities, the most painful one, painful element is composing. For instance, I have to compose something, but nothing comes to my mind, and so the result is zero. But maybe then I go to bed, and during the night I feel something, and some idea is born. So in the end, maybe composition, despite being painful, is the most successful of my activities. Fabio Canestro from Nova Sardinia. I thank you very much for the marvelous concert of yesterday night. You worked with so many great directors, and recently with Yamada Yoji. And you have written the score for Tokyo Kazuko, which was a remake of Tokyo Monogatari by Ozu. What was it like to write the music for this remake? Did you think of the Tokyo Monogatari by Ozu as well? Yeah, we are talking about Tokyo Kazoku, which was an homage paid to Ozu's work. In my opinion, Yamada just wanted to do that in this remake, so he certainly referred to the original work. As regards music instead, I must say I did not make any reference to the original film. On the contrary, I tried to create something that could create a new atmosphere and convey the idea of what the old couple was feeling in remembering their past. Now the new question is, you were a director too. You tried directing a film. Did this experience change somehow your approach to the writing of music for other films?
最後にこの音楽とのその監督がどういうものを作りたいのかしっかり理解するように考えるようにしています。
Well, actually, that was a case in which I tried to work as a director, and so I could understand that it is a very hard job. After saying so, I must say that as regards my approach to writing music and soundtracks, well, yes, that changed my approach, because I always try to look at the film not only as a musician, but also from a viewpoint of a director. So once again, I try to understand better the objectives of the director. Next question: did all the technological advancements, computers, internet, etc., change your way of working?
今、コンピューターで音楽譜面も作ったりしてるから、そういうテクノロジーっていうのは自分なりに必要最小限使うようにしてます。ただあれってみんなそれに振り回されちゃうのは基本的に僕間違いだと思ってて、所詮自分が持ってるものの鏡でしか映ってこないから、できるだけ普通にアナログ系で生きられるように努力はしています。なかなか難しいですけど。
I must admit that certainly the approach has changed, because nowadays the initial part of composing is still made at the piano, but all the finishing touches, all the scores are completed through computer. So I use technology in my own way, but as much as needed, not too much. I don't want to be led by technology. I don't think that technology should prevail. I think that technology should only help to transmit the creation process, and try to be as analogical as possible, though it is actually still hard today. Thank you. Leopoldo Santovincenzo from Rai 4 Wonderland. Thank you. Good evening. I would like to thank, as did my colleagues, for the wonderful concert of last night. I would like to thank Faris Film Festival for enabling us to be present there and for organizing it. Miyazaki's masterpieces are full of characters who can fly, and there's plenty of airplanes. How can actually a musician, a composer, set this idea of flying into music?
確かに宮崎さんの作品には空飛ぶシーンが多くて、である意味で空を飛びたいっていうのは人間の夢でもあるわけだから、そういう希望につながるようなものをベースに作ってきているつもりです。それからやはり空飛ぶってことはどっかで疾走感がいるんで、あえてその疾走感、テンポの速いものを書く時もあれば、だからこそすごくスローな曲をつけることで、そういう気持ち的な何か高揚感を逆に落とすことで空中を漂っているのをしっかり出すとかね、ケースバイケースでいろいろ変えてます。
certainly, many of Miyazaki's works are full of flying scenes. From one point of view, I could say that flying has always been the dream of the human being. So when I create musical composition to give this idea, I try to connect to the hope that this dream of flying gives to the human being. On the other hand, there are also very dynamic and very quick scenes. So I need to adapt to these scenes a music which is slower in order to give an emotional contrast that may let the audience understand the movements in the space where the characters are flying. So there are different examples and different way of approaching it.
絶えず考えているんですけども、日本は歴史上明治維新っていう明治になった時期があって、その時に西洋をそれまでは鎖国状態、閉鎖的な国だったのが、明治政府になってその西洋の音楽を取り入れた瞬間、昔のものを全部捨てた。つまり教育としても全部ほぼなくしてしまった。一旦そこで文化はどうしても取り入れている。それで、第二次世界大戦が終わった時にアメリカの文化を一挙に逆に取り入れるっていうか、占領されてたから取り入れたことによってまたそれまで培ってきたものを一回捨てちゃったりしてるんで、日本の歴史っていうのはすごく変なところがあって、だから伝統音楽とポピュラー音楽がつながってるというのはほとんどないんだと思います。ないんだけれども、日本には演歌っていうのがあって、そこに唯一信頼だとかいろいろな拳回しで残ってるぐらいで、伝統音楽とポピュラー音楽のつながりっていうのはあまりないんじゃないかと思います。今のところ。そんなにない。
In my opinion, this relationship does not exist in general terms, not even with the average Japanese citizen. There's something I do believe that in Japanese history, the first time that Western culture was absorbed was at the end of the period called Sakoku, when there was this closure of Japan towards the rest of the world and the beginning of the Meiji Restoration period. Then there was this great influence of Western culture, and therefore everything that did belong to the past was sort of thrown away. Then there was an interruption, a break with the previous culture. After the Second World War, there was a great influence of the US culture because we were occupied by the US troops, and then again this complex situation of breakup with the previous part of the Japanese history was repeated. Japanese history is very particular. There's no link between popular traditional music with people. There's probably only one genre that is called enka, and that expresses something more intimate, but there's no such a relationship. My last question. Do you know the Italian melodrama, and did Italian melodrama had any influence on your work?
オペラに関してはもちろんヴェルディのオペラだったりプッチーニだったり一応よく聞いたりしています。ただ、どちらかというとやっぱりメロディーが非常に明快な音楽が多いと思うので、 そういう意味ではなんつったらいいんだろう、イタリアのメロディーがとても自分が好きな理由は、明るい曲なのにどっか哀愁が漂ってたりとか、なんかそういう二面性が絶えずあるその深さみたいなところをとても気に入ってます。
Certainly, as far as opera is concerned, essentially listen to Italian operas, to Verdi, Puccini. When speaking about Italian opera, many compositions actually have a very clear, very well-defined melody, and I do appreciate Italian opera melodies because they have these very positive, unlighted sort of aspect, but at the same time they also are in contrast with it. They are bidimensional, which I find it very fascinating. Thank you. I would like to give the floor to Pio D'Emilia, Sky TG24. Thank you.
じゃあ日本語で失礼なんですけど、私日本でずっと住んでますから。
今日いい機会ですから、失礼でなければ日本語で許してください。それで通訳さんもちょっと休ませていただきたい。まず昨日本当ありがとうございました。質問2つあるんですけれども、第一は、久石さんは大震災の時はいろいろのチャリティーの活動をしたりとか、世界中やられてるんですけれども、これからもっとやるつもりですから、それとも個人的には福島も含めてに関してはどういう気持ちを持ってるんですか。もうみんな安心していいですか、それともまだ危ないとか、そういう簡単な判断にしていただきたい。それで第2は今まであったかどうかわからないけれども、もしね、とても家庭的な質問なんですけど、もし海外の監督さんからコラボレーションやりたかったらだったらどういう監督さんから期待してますか。アメリカの監督とかイタリアの監督、フランスの監督、期待としてね、よろしくお願いします。
まず福島の方の件ですけども、最初に曲を
I'm sorry because we need to translate the question first.
Tradurrò tutto quanto
Tutto alla fine. Ok, tutto alla fine.
La traduco io direttamente, preferisci?
Se no vado direttamente. Ok, faccio.
Ok.
Forse è meglio.
Allora, praticamente è successo questo, la domanda era la seguente.
The question was the following. The first is the maestro activity as far as the charity activities are regarded.
Sono state fatte in giro per il mondo.
He actually had worldwide to support the earthquake in the Tohoku area a few years ago, and as for his personal opinion on Fukushima events, do you think Fukushima is today a safer area, or is it still a dangerous area? Then a second question is again hypothetical. Should you receive any proposal for cooperation outside the Japanese country? What might be any candidate? I mean, any Italian, any American director would you like to work with?
のコンサートとか、あと自分ができる範囲のことはこれからもずっとやっていきます。やっていきますが、僕は全く楽観してなくて、とてももっと深い問題が結構ずっと根底にはあって、公になってないだけでこの後もっと大変なことが起こるんじゃないかという危機感は絶えず持っています。別の意味で言うと、汚染された地域ってやっぱりある種の国土を喪失しているようなことだから、そしてやっぱり原子力っていうのは全然いつになったらきれいになるかっていうのは本当にわからないことだから、 人類どこでもそれがまだ誰もわからないわけですから、かなり一番まずい時の状況を僕なんか考えながら、自分が日本の国民として、あるいは人間としてできることは何かっていうのを絶えず考えています。それからもう一個の方の、イタリアとかアメリカとかの他の作曲家、監督とやらないのことで言いますと、僕は映画って今でもまだ、自分の音楽作品になるもんだと思ってるんですね。音楽作品だと思っているから、きちんとこういうものを表現したいっていうのを持ってる監督さんだったら、世界中のどんな人とでも全然一緒に仕事してみたいと思います。ただし別の言い方をすると、最近はさっきのデジタルテクノロジーじゃないけど発達しすぎちゃって、簡単にみんな映像に音楽くっつけてごちょごちょやっちゃってる。だから例えば全部とは言いませんけど、ハリウッドの映画のように音楽が効果音のエフェクトの一部になっちゃってるようなものが多くなってる。でその手のものは作品と認めないから、やる意思は全くありません。
Comincio con la prima risposta, cioè alla parte di Fukushima. Io, per quello che riguarda l'attività di
answer as regards Fukushima. I do continue doing charity as far as it possible to me. I do not have a positive opinion on Fukushima because I believe that there are problems which are extremely deep problems that were not led to the attention of the public opinion, and they could arise later on. So I'm actually very worried about it, and I feel this crisis that might be about to break out. As regards people contaminated by this event, certainly at a great loss, not as far as the area, the territory is concerned, because nuclear energy we don't really know whether nuclear energy can ever be considered as a clean source of energy. So no one is able to tell it if we are going to be able to clean such a nuclear energy. So I keep in mind what are the most negative conditions. So as far as it is in my capacity as a common Japanese citizen and as in my role as an artistic figure, I would do all that's possible to work in that direction. In movies, there must be the willingness to use music as a musical work. So I would like to find a director that wants to give such an expression to his movie, and I would be glad and happy to cooperate with him. And nowadays we've been speaking about technological advancements. Today many films, many film works see music as just an appendix to the actual movie, as if it was a part of sound effects, without giving it the actual importance and significance it ought to have. And I don't want to work with such directors. As for nuclear energy, are you opposite to nuclear energy? Yes, of course I am. So, do you have any further question? No? Okay, Marco Bellano. Marco Bellano first. Good morning. My name is Marco Bellano. I'm professor of history of animation movie at the University of Padova. and first of sound music for film making, and I would like to thank you for your music and for the concert you had here yesterday. My question is the following. During last night's concert, at the end of the first part, two minimalist songs were conducted. This is a peculiar character feature of your work. You got close to minimal music in the first part of your career. We all know you're being used to write long music, long soundtracks, long musical composition. Any musician would understand that also in more melodic films, for example, the ones of Miyazaki's films, there is a minimal feature. There's a dialogue between the minimal part and a longer melody between the parts and the overall film. Is it minimal music that actually affected your way of composing for cinema, or is it composing for cinema that actually got you closer to minimal music? And what are the minimal music musicians that you consider most important?
基本的には自分がメロディー作家だとは思ってなくて、ずっとミニマルをやっていて、たまたま昨日も演奏しましたけど、ナウシカとか作った時ぐらいからこう自分なりきに考えたメロディーっていうのは自分も書けるんだっていうのが分かったくらいで、今でもだからそのメロディーメーカーとしての部分とミニマリズムっていうところをこう往復しながら作曲してるっていうのが基本的になると思います。それで、最近は本当にコンテンポラリーの方の作品を作んなきゃいけなかったり、そういうミニマルの作曲家の作品をまだ日本で全く上演されてない曲が多いんで、それを指揮者として演奏する。だから普通のクラシックとかそういう活動がすごく増えてるんで、どちらかというとそのエンターテイメントの音楽を作るというよりは、活動のベースをクラシックに置いている状態に今僕自身はなっています。それから最後なんだっけ。
Comincio col dire appunto quello che il fatto che io non mi ritengo
I don't consider myself a composer of melodies. I actually have always felt closer to minimal music. What happens many years ago, when I started writing music for Nausicaa, I realized that I was able to write also melody music. From this point of view, I continue having some, melody ins, but with a minimal approach. So I move between these two genres. This is the way I create music, I compose music. As regards more recent times, there are works where I compose that needs a more contemporary approach and therefore need to be more minimal. Also, for example, as regards conducting orchestras in Japan that require a more minimal approach, and more as if we speak about entertainment music, I feel closer to classical music, certainly.
よく活躍している方がいて、彼の曲なんかも今年の秋日本初演とかその室内交響曲とかそういう指揮しなきゃいけない曲が随分た るし、それから、来週かな、来週か再来週には、アルボ・ペルトっていうエストニアの作曲家のシンフォニーの3番とか、シェーンベルクのジョーヤとか、そういう曲の指揮を、これは指揮者としてやらなきゃいけないことがあったりするんで、本当に活動としては今クラシックの方がとっても多くなってます。それと、そのミニマル作家としては今言ったジョン・アダムスだったりアルボ・ペルトさんだったりとか、それからそうですね、もういろんなミニマル作家もう影響を受けたりしてますけれども、特に最近強いのはその2人、そうでもないか、アメリカの32歳の作曲家でニコ・ミューディっていうのがいる。でこいつはとっても、こいつはだってこの人とってもいいですからニコ・ミューディでしょ、あと誰だっけな、ブライス・デスナーとかね、今30のちょっと過ぎたあたりの若手でとってもいい作曲家が大勢出てるんで、そういう人の曲を日本でどんどん演奏させるっていうか紹介していくっていうのをやろうと思ってます。
ジョー・ナーダムスとかペルトは先生も実際に演奏されるとしてます。はい。すみません。
Dunque, invece per quello che riguarda la seconda
As
domanda,
regards
che era degli autori
the second question
minimalisti, che hanno anche
concerning
una
minimalist
certa
authors
influenza
who
e danno una certa ispirazione, dall'America c'è
inspire
John
me.
Adams.
In America we have John
Ad
Adams
esempio,
among
per quello che
them.
riguarda il fatto che io stesso poi mi cimenterò
The fact that I myself tried to direct some of their music, as I did last autumn in some when I directed some symphony. Then there is a work composed by another minimalist from Estonia, Alberto, and then the Joy of Schoenberg. Both John Adams and Alberto both influenced me a lot, but maybe not only them. There is a young composer in America, Nico Muti, that I appreciate very much. And then there is Bryce Dessner, a bit older than the others, and he too is producing very good music, and I like to disseminate this music of his to as many audiences as I can.
First, please.
Okay. Hi. My name is Gloria Joe. Actually, I'm from Hong Kong, but yes, I'm part of the campus program here. I just have one simple question. Since you have received the Life Achievement Award from the Far East Film Festival, what would you want the world to remember about your music maybe 50 years or 100 years later?
あんまり考えたことないかな今でもそうなんですけど、作っちゃったら興味がないんだよねだから昨日みたいなコンサートやって前に書いた曲こう演奏すると、こういう曲も書いたんだなとかね、なかなかいい曲書くじゃないかとかね、ふっと人事のように思うだけで、だからなんだろう、いつもやっぱりこれから書く曲が、これから作んなきゃいけない曲が一番大事だから、あんまりその過去の作品はもしみんなが気に入って聴いてくれたら嬉しいなと思うぐらいで、別にみんなが聴かなくなっちゃったらそれはそれでいいなとも思ってます。
devo essere sincero e dire che non ci ho mai
I must be
pensato
very frank,
a questo
and
tipo
I'll tell you that I never thought about that. I am not actually interested in what I did in the past. When I happen to direct concerts like yesterday, and I have to direct the music that I wrote in the past, then I suddenly remember, oh yes, I did that. Oh yes, I did that too. But that is kind of not interesting to me any longer. Because for me, what is important is to create something for the future. What really drives me forward is the thought of working a lot in the future. Of course, if people like what I did in the past, I'm very happy about that. But if in the future nobody will listen to my music any longer, well, that's all right.
ありがとうございます。